So PlayStation's boss recently came out and said that their company doesn't seem to have a lot of original IP that they've actually spent time in cultivating from ground up. So to that, I ask, where has all their money been going and why have they not been cultivating these IPs? Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really do think this is an important subject to take a very good look at. Number one, Sony has basically engaged in what I think is trying to bolster its platform from the gaming side using third-party developers and their games to do so. This is basically what I call money hatting, where they spend money for a developer that's already making a game or that has already made a game, and they try to block the game away from Xbox. Something that a lot of PlayStation players have not necessarily taken into consideration is that these funds could have been used to actually make original PlayStation games. Rather than money hatting, I think PlayStation could have done a good job in making smaller titles instead of closing studios like Japan Studio. I remember, do y'all remember how everybody was yelling at Xbox for actually selling Tango Gameworks, whereas PlayStation closed about 4 other studios just as well, including Japan Studio, a studio that was very artistically inclined in its games. But PlayStation did not necessarily want that. Another thing that PlayStation engaged in and did for the most part was pretty much, take a bunch of its funds to go try to make a lot of these expensive IPs like Spider-Man and the Marvel games like X-Men that was leaked and rumored to be coming pretty soon. So you guys understand exactly what I mean by that, right? The money went somewhere and was being used for all kinds of other purposes. So where's the original IP that, PlayStation has that's actually going to not only, cost them an arm and a leg, but would also be profitable and benefit their gamers? They're literally titles that were sitting there that got ignored. And I've seen a lot of people post and talk about these things extensively, talking about, games like, Sly Cooper and all the others, just, titles that are just sitting there that no one basically decided to resuscitate or resurrect or whatever it is, and fans are asking for many, many years. One thing at least that Xbox really, I think Xbox does well is they really do respond to those kinds of things. They really want to help, please their fans and, bring things that fans do like. You see them from time to time, or maybe, sometimes they'll signal that, hey man, this is something that we actually pay attention to and we're looking towards bringing. They'll talk about that stuff. But PlayStation, on the other hand, man, no. It's all about, getting ahead. And most times at the cost of their fans' enjoyments too. So it's really weird that their CEO came out and said that when they have a studio like Sucker Punch that, in my opinion, made one of the best action adventure, open world titles that I've ever played, which is Ghost of Tsushima. $60 million at the time. I hope they greenlit a second part because, man, I'm telling you, if there is no second part that's been greenlit for this game, or if they're basically delaying it or whatever it is, I'm going to really have to put my face in my hands and wonder what are these guys doing? If you get what I mean. So it's not surprising to see their own boss asking this question, where are all our IPs, when in the last few years, what they've pretty much spent their money on has been things that have not fostered their IPs that they have. They hadn't even really acquired many IPs that were already established. I mean, they finally, acquired Bungie, but $3 billion for Bungie? Do you know how many games would have been made from ground up with $3 billion than to go acquire Bungie as a premature response to Microsoft acquiring Activision? That's all it was. It was just a reactionary buy. And now Bungie seems to have basically not panned out yet by any means. So if there's any surprise or if there's any question that's being asked in this whole category or in this, in this context, I think we do have our answers. There just has not been the focus on their players. Not to my knowledge, anyways. But that's how I see it. That's where I envision it from. So anybody can say whatever it is that they want, but I think PlayStation has actually put itself in this position that it is. Because yes, it's enjoyed some short-term benefits, but at the end of the day, nobody wants to do that kind of business anymore because their brands are suffering. Their brands are suffering. Final Fantasy's brand is suffering. And a lot of these new, developers that are coming and, are, or even maybe even the more, how do you put it? The more established ones that are coming, they're also going to be seeing their own brand suffer as well. Like Rise of Ronin, that game did not do well. Simply did not do well. Why? Because they could have put their game on other platforms and been able to sell and been able to introduce their brand to other people. But now the brand is taking a hit, a triple hit for the most part. So it's interesting to see all of this. And then at the same time, people to wonder where all this stuff has been all this while. But it is what it is. At least PlayStation will realize, I think at least by now, they'll realize enough of their errors and maybe make a change. But I don't know. They're not the most pro-consumer company. And so I'm not certain that they're going to make changes. I think they're just going to continue with this particular mindset until it's too late. And if their fans continue to give them the leeway or give them the go ahead to, misbehave and not provide value, then they're going to continue doing it. It's the fans that make, sometimes I actually do make the companies behave the way they behave. And most PlayStation fans don't see PlayStation doing anything wrong. They don't see PlayStation being not, prudent with their funding. They don't see PlayStation not providing enough for them, even when they don't have enough in terms of offerings every year. And this year, basically what PlayStation players are going to play for the most part on their platform are Xbox games and then other third-party games. And if you don't see anything wrong with that, then, that's fine. They can keep going. And they can give you 12 live service games while they're at it. Maybe that's what, some PlayStation fans want. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.